Hi, I'm Chuck Freeman. In this series, I get to talk to inspiring members of our community about their stories, upcoming projects, and more. Welcome to the Developer's Edge. Hi everybody, welcome to Developer's Edge. I'm so excited today to talk to a longtime friend, colleague, and our Senior Director of Technical Marketing at Akamai, Jesse Freeman. Jesse, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Huge fan.
Well, it's awesome to have you today. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a while. Of course, we work together. We've known each other for a long time. Let's start by hearing, what do you do at Akamai?
I have a lot of responsibilities at Akamai. The primary one is helping you head up the developer advocacy team and basically putting into place all of the developer programs that we have initiated right now. I also run a few other teams, one of which handles the data visualizations for marketing and a few of the data visualizations that we run on the website. So it's two varying teams, but always keeps me on my toes.
Was there a pivot point in your career where you sort of really locked in on not just being a developer or a manager of other engineers, but actually wanting to go more into this enablement kind of role and into developer evangelism or advocacy?
I was getting incredibly burnt out from doing this high-end consultancy. So I think the last project I was doing was for a bank. And while it was incredibly challenging and I was running a team of like 30 developers, it was just nonstop, and I missed actually just creating things myself. So it made me take a step back, and at the time, Microsoft was looking to launch the well-received Windows 8, and they had presented an opportunity for me to come and work with developers, and so I gave up a director role to go be an evangelist, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made because unlike consulting, I don't have a customer. There's no big deadline. I just get to come up with an idea that I think developers will be interested in. I get to create it, and I get to document it and then share it with others. And I think throughout my career, even before I switched into advocacy, I was always very big into mentoring other developers and trying to grow teams and growing individuals, because since my background isn't in development and I'm a self-taught programmer, it was always important for me to teach others the way that I learn it. And I don't come from an academic standpoint. I can break very complex things down into simple things. And so any opportunity that lets me do all of that at the same time is really appealing. And that's how I got into evangelism.
What are some of the things that you brought to the program or that we're doing now that you feel are turning the ship towards this developer-first approach?
I think that by working with anyone and helping all developers and lifting them up, it in turn makes a much more developer-friendly culture, and other developers stop and see it. So some of the big initiatives that we're trying right now is, one, obviously growing our YouTube channel and putting as much resources as we can to helping this show and the other ones that we're producing take off, as well as a big initiative this year towards investing in open source and using GitHub as a developer channel. I think most people think of developer marketing channels as usually like a blog or through Twitter or social, and I have a unique approach to using GitHub as a way of also engaging with developers and being able to see whether they're discussing or interested in the stuff that we're doing back.
Are there things out there that you wish would improve or that you've actually worked yourself or contributed to help improve that you think are going to be essential for developers or have provided this kind of value?
The most important thing that gets overlooked a lot is documentation. And there's been a movement towards automating documentation. So a lot of products have documentation. I have yet to meet a developer who's been like, wow, that's really good documentation. The challenge is that how do you put real examples into documentation that a developer can find, run, and then see how it works and tinker with? And I think that's something that a lot of companies aren't doing correctly. It really makes the difference between just understanding what an API does, but actually seeing how it works, because not all developers are able to understand the concept of it by just looking at a call. They might really need to see, okay, how do I make this call into this scenario? Or if there's a security restriction, or if there's a performance impact, what is the best way to do it? And teaching developers, okay, here are all the tools, but here's how to use each of the tools, I think will make or break developers being successful in your platform.
We both have kids that are sort of coming of age in a world where there's a lot of technology available to them. What are your hopes for them as far as how they experience technology?
It is interesting to see how far the technology has come, considering I surround myself with all of the pieces of technology that I grew up with, and I know intricately how to take a computer apart, how to repair it. I still remember how to do the dip switches on the old IDE hard drives. I know how to solder. I look at my kids growing up, and there's no way that they could take apart their iPad. It's just not a real thing. There's no way they can take apart their laptop now and fix it or upgrade it. And I think, if anything, my biggest concern is that they don't understand mechanically how the things work and how the pieces get put together. Maybe it's a good thing because they don't have to be saddled with all of that knowledge. But to me, as a person who likes to take things apart and really understand how they work, I think there's a connectedness that you get to anything that you use when you understand mechanically how it works. And that, I think, is something that I try to instill a little bit more in them by helping, show them, like, here's how I build or repair one of these computers. Here's how I solder these things, and trying to get them involved in it, because it's much like driving a manual car. It's a lost art, and it's something that'll be, the way the dodos very soon.
Jesse, that was an awesome conversation, just exploring where you've been through your career, what's shaped you as a leader. And I'm grateful that you've had the time to talk. We've reflected on our friendship.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today on Developer's Edge. We hope you liked our conversation. To watch more, subscribe and check out our other series. Take care, and we'll talk again soon.